Hey everybody, welcome to the Gaming Resumes Game of the Year Awards! Bum-ba-da-bum. I'm Sean File, this is Rudy Montilla.
Hola.
If you would like to skip all the formalities and jump straight to certain awards, feel free to use the timestamps in the description below, and you can skip ahead and get right to what you're looking for. But otherwise, a few things before we get into the awards. Matt and Onix could not be here with us today. There were some scheduling conflicts. But we did collect everybody's nominations ahead of time. And we had to do some deliberations just between us because they were not here. For final deliberations, we had to make some hard choices. But we feel pretty good. So we finally got to an agreement of where the Gaming Resume stands for the year 2017.
Sorry guys. For like somebody's. Yeah.
We're excited to get into it.
Oh yeah,
we feel pretty good about it.
Totally, yeah.
So we've got 7 awards to get through today. 5 of them are typical awards. So the last 5, best visuals, best soundtrack, best gameplay, best narrative, and best game of the year.
Of course.
Those are what you would think of the typical 5 awards. The boundaries we placed on those is that at least 2 of the 4 of us had to have played a game. Had to have played a game for it to be eligible for one of those 5 categories.
Yeah.
So there are going to be some major games that do not show up on the list, and that's because only one or none of us played it.
Yep.
And that was only fair because, if a game that one person has played versus a game that 3 or 4 of us have played and you're trying to vote on it, it's...
Yeah.
We're trying not to make it popular opinion, but here's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got a re-release category, which is basically anything that has come out before but is not a full-on remake. So if it's a port, a remaster, a repackaging, or a new collection, then it counted for that category. As long as it came out this year, and at least one of us had to have played it for it to be eligible to be nominated.
Yes.
Nominable. But we're going to kick things off with the Backlog category. Mm-hmm. So the Backlog Award, the 5 nominees for the Backlog Award are games that were brand new games that one of us played or none of us played, and therefore it is a game that was not eligible for any of the other awards, but we thought it was worth recognizing and putting into our backlog, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So the way this is going to go, we're going to read through the 5 nominees really quick, and then Rudy and I are going to talk about each one, and then we'll announce the winner, and we'll move on. So here we go, starting with the Backlog Award. The nominees.
All alphabetically put in order.
All alphabetically picked. And hopefully you cannot see the winners ahead of time. Spoiler alert.
Seriously.
Just don't look. Just don't look at my piece of paper.
Just put it like 480p when you upload it.
Yeah.
Like do the worst quality
there's
possible.
There's like a glass in the way, and we'll put some of this stuff here. Okay. All right, for realsies, this is where the timestamp will start now. So for the Backlog Award, these are the 5 games that one or none of us played that we all really want to play. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Resident Evil 7, only one of us played this year.
Sorry.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2, just came out. Yakuza 0, and Yakuza Kiwami. I guess it's worth noting that any game was eligible for this, whether it be a remaster or whatever. Thus, Yakuza Kiwami's inclusion. All right, so let's go through these real quick, Rudy. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
You know what? It was one of those games that came out around the time that I was out of the United States. So for me, a lot of the picks that we had, that I put in, and a lot of the nominations, they were all Switch based or PC based or something around that. Just because I didn't have a console, I didn't take my PS4 with me across the sea. But Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice was one of the games from the get-go, when they started their development diaries on YouTube, that I followed almost religiously because I thought the concept of the game itself was awesome, man. Like dealing with psychosis and just mental illness in general in that aspect was awesome. I don't know. What
And
do you
going
think?
on an adventure that draws from like the fantastical world. It almost kind of looks like a God of War meets Horizon with all of this really crazy psychological stuff going on. I think it was $20 or $30 when it came out. It wasn't very expensive.
No.
And I remember thinking, I think it came out in the summertime, and I said, okay, picking this up because I want to make sure this looks this looks so beautiful. This is going to be a Game of the Year contender. And none of us actually got around to picking it up.
No, I feel so bad.
Yeah.
It was digital only though, right?
I believe it was digital only.
They didn't do any physical copies, but definitely worth it. I definitely want to pick it up.
Yeah.
Totally.
As do I. Resident Evil 7. Did you play Resident Evil 7?
Okay, so I played the demo.
Played the demo, as did I.
And, like, I immediately was like, Silent Hills, PT, like, immediately. So I got the vibe like that, and I was like, okay, this is, like, awesome. Gonna be Game of the Year contender. And I just never picked it up. I have a 2-year-old at home, so I was like, zombies and blood, probably not the best thing for him to see.
Yeah, same boat. Got a 3-year-old, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want her looking at all that when I'm... The only time to play it would be, like, really late at night. And it's really hard to play those games. It's hard to find time. Yeah. We should say.
Adulting for the win.
But the demo was brilliant.
Oh, my God,
and
yes.
my whole goal with Resident Evil 7 was, because it was one of the first games that came out, I think it came out January 18th. Like, it was, boom, right at the beginning of the year. So many games coming out the first quarter. Let's push Resident Evil 7 off until Black Friday and get it, like, really cheap. $20, $25. So pushed it off and just never came back. I actually have it now. I did get it for
Black Friday.
For Black Friday.
Nice. Congrats.
It's in the room next door in the plastic wrap. Just haven't gotten around to it. So it's on the backlog.
Nice.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Big Switch game just came out a week or so ago of the time of this recording. I have started playing it. I'm the only one who has started playing it. I did pick it up.
Haven't gotten it.
Nobody else has picked it up yet.
I do. It was on my radar because everything that they said beforehand, that Nintendo said beforehand, it's going to be huge. It's going to be massive. You're going to have like these huge worlds to go and see. The story's going to be epic, and it's just anything and everything that somebody would want from a JRPG. Pretty much.
It's got a lot of different systems. I mean, I'm only an hour in, and I'm really taking my time. Like, I'm exploring because I realize there's like chests hidden around areas, so I'm like really poking around. And it seems like, even though I'm early on in JRPGs, everything's very basic, but there's still a lot to it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when you get to those big areas where all sorts of stuff's going on, and you've got 10 different unlockable characters that you're trying to manage or whatever, and seeing where that goes. But it's a 100-hour game.
Persona 5 all over again.
Yeah. We'll see. It's on the Switch, so maybe over the holidays, getting through it on the couch will be a lot easier.
No.
Yakuza 0.
All right.
Now, I don't know how much you really know about Yakuza. I know much.
Absolutely nothing. But if any of our viewers know, it's that Onix is like
this game.
Hugely in love with this. Like, oh my gosh. But everything that happened with Shenmue, and Shenmue 3 being announced, I never played the originals. Again, didn't touch them. But it's one of those things where, like, a lot of people said, if you want a modern day Shenmue before Shenmue 3 was announced, go to Yakuza. So I feel like giving into that legacy and that tradition and kind of like the name in and of itself, like, you almost have to pay homage to it. So it's always been on my radar. It's always been one of those, like, I'll get to it eventually things. So definitely going into the backlog for me.
It also came out early in the year, and I thought, hey, that's a great $30 game. And I just didn't get around to it yet. Yeah. Yet being the key word. We'll see.
You didn't get it on Black Friday?
I did not pick it up on Black Friday because I got Resident Evil 7 and I got a few other games. Yeah. So my backlog is now really big for 2017.
Just probably from Onix.
But this is on there. Yakuza 0 is still on the list.
Yeah.
And then lastly, Yakuza Kiwami, which is a remaster, one of the two of the first Yakuza game.
Let's just call Onix and just be like, what is it? But no, it's the same thing, like the legacy and everything.
Okay, hang on. We're you know what?
He's
we're gonna do some cool stuff here. We are going to actually. I don't think I have to know. Whatever. Never mind. Sorry, Onix. I tried, and then I gave up.
The effort was there. A for effort.
The intent was there. So yeah. Better luck next year. All right, so that's Yakuza Kiwami.
Who's the winner of...
So, the winner of our Backlog of the Year category goes to Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. This won, I think Hellblade, the actress, won Best Performance at the Game Awards.
Yeah, dude, did you see that she was a video editor? Her
that
first
was
acting performance
insane.
ever, and she like won an award for it.
And she got it from Andy Serkis, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
She was like shaking. She's like, "Why am I here? Andy Serkis just gave me an award, and I edit videos for a living."
Seriously.
But she looked identical to the model of the character in the game. So
did you see
they did a really good job.
If you go to the video diaries, like they show you how they did that with like this crazy video, like facial mapping thing, and somewhere in Europe, I think it was like Italy or something. I don't know, but epicness.
I'm gonna do my hardest to pick this up over the holidays and just get through it because I think it's a relatively short game.
It's like 10, 12 hours. I think.
It's not very long.
It's not, but it's like that.
You can beat it in a weekend.
Middle tier AAA.
Yeah.
That they were trying to kind of find that niche. I mean, granted, the studio has a lot of pedigree behind them.
Right.
But still, I don't know. Kudos.
Kudos
Seriously.
to Hellblade.
Yes.
All right. So that's one down.
All right.
Six awards to go.
Feeling good.
Doing good. All right. Next up is our re-release category, and just a reminder, this is any game that one or more of us played this year. But these are games that had been released in previous years. These are not remakes, but they could be remasters. They could be ports. They could be a new compilation that was released, some sort of repackaging. So there were 5 of these games that got nominated. Actually, there were only 5 of these games that we actually played this year. Yeah. So they all got nominated. But these are all quality games, so it's not a knock. Nobody got grandfathered into this category. All right, so I'm going to read through them all real quick, and then we'll talk about them.
Of course.
So the Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5 collection on PS4. The Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And Minecraft on the Switch. Those were our 5 nominees for Best Re-Release of 2017. So let's start with Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5. I don't think either of us played that this year. Did you play either of them when they were on PS3?
I own both of them on PS3, and they were awesome, but I saw no point to get them on PS4.
Right, yeah.
Like, at that point, and like, that's kind of goes back to like our previous podcast on like, you know, Onix and I being like, come on, another re-release, so.
It's definitely a good deal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for like $40 probably.
Yeah, if you guys have never played it, like,
if you've never played Kingdom Hearts,
seriously, it's epic.
You get Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and then you get the prologue or the mid story between 1 and 2, and then you get the prologue to 1. Mm-hmm. Okay, it does get a little confusing.
It gets crazy. The story is like so convoluted, but if you play them back to back to back to back, it's good.
It's great.
It's good. Just
get
it.
It's great. It's good. Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. I think I was the only one who played this.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
This came with Dream Drop Distance was the big game on there, which was the pre-Kingdom Hearts 3 game that was released on the Nintendo 3DS. Yeah. And now it's on PS4. So they did a remaster of that. I did go back and beat it. I went through the whole thing again.
Yeah, did they add anything new? Or just kind of like an up-res?
If they did, nothing major. I think it was mostly just, an up-res. It's 60 frames per second, so it looks beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome.
They changed the controls around because the 3DS, and obviously there's no 3D, obviously, on PS4. But it did include a video of the Kingdom Hearts key union mobile game stuff. It was interesting, but Yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure if they're setting up for post Kingdom Hearts 3 story or if it's going to play into Kingdom Hearts 3 at all. Kingdom Hearts 3 is not the end of it.
Really?
No, yeah. It's
Have
the
they said
end,
that?
it's Kingdom Hearts 3 is the end of the current saga that they building up to. This is the Avengers 4 of the Kingdom Hearts series.
Oh my
and then
God.
they're going to go on and do a whole bunch start a whole new arc.
All right.
But the other big thing that came with this package was the Birth by Sleep 0.2 fragmentary passage, where you play as a character from Birth by Sleep immediately after the Birth by Sleep storyline, and you see what they've been up to, and it's very short, but it uses the Kingdom Hearts 3 engine, so you get a feel for what's coming. It was kind of like Ground Zeroes was for Metal Gear Solid 5.
Okay,
it's like a preview. It's not a demo of the game. It's like an
actual
prologue
game.
of what's going to happen. So
yeah.
Next up was Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age. We both played that, correct?
Yeah. Dude, it's awesome.
I think Onix may have played it too. I'm not sure.
Onyx was not happy with it.
I don't know why.
Because he's a loser.
Sorry, Onix. That's what happens when Rudy was in Europe for a few months.
Yeah,
and every time we did a podcast, he was so upset when we'd say things he disagreed with.
Yeah.
So he knows how Onix and Matt feels, but that's the way it rules.
Final Fantasy 12, man, like if you guys like, Final Fantasy 12 was one of the last games to come out on the PS2, and like it pushed the console to its limits. I remember, like, dude, I clocked in like close to 120 hours, and I was in college, and that's like a lot of time. So I remembered beating everything. All their boards were filled up and everything, and like when it came to Zodiac Age, like it just seemed like a no-brainer, especially with the new job class system.
Yeah, so each person gets a class.
Yeah.
Which was in the international version that we never got.
Again.
But then also for Zodiac Age, you actually can pick a secondary class.
Yep. So
you can actually, if you give a unique class and secondary class to all 6 characters, you can use all 12 jobs that are in the game. So that's cool. They added that fast forward function.
Oh my God.
Which
thank you, Square Enix.
At first I thought, no, I don't need fast forward.
No,
I'm going to be legit and play this like I did the last 3 times I played this game. And then I'm like, wow, this game's really slow. Let me just see what it's like, because I just want to get that 100 chain thing for a trophy real quick. So I'm just going to go fast. So I bumped it up to 2, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm just doing it for a trophy. Let me just put it to 4. And then I never went back. I just left it on 4. The whole game. It made the game so much better.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of the tediousness for the side quests are literally fetch quests. You go from point A to point B, get this. Oh, you have to go there, blah, 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 blah. Saved so much time.
Saved a lot of time.
A lot of time.
And the battles that would have taken hours and hours are now just
minutes.
Done.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't take the fun out of it, because you have to be careful when you're on 4 times speed, when all of a sudden you see your character party bar going, and you're like, oh no, my God. So you got to change your gambits real quick. But But yeah, Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age. That was number 3. Number 4, another big one. I think all 4 of us played it. I know all 4 of us played it. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch.
I'm still jaded about that game. but Super Mario Odyssey. But later.
Okay.
Later. But no.
A graphics discussion for another time.
Yeah. But Super Mario, honestly, man, like, I still enjoy it. Like, I can pick it up with my kid and play it with him. And it's so, like, friendly. Like, anybody can pick it up.
And they added the battle mode in this version.
The 200cc?
They added 200cc.
Yeah.
And they added... there were a couple new characters I think they added. I think they added... we didn't play it on the Wii U. This is where Onix would be coming.
Onix would come in and be like...
I think is there a go... can you play as Boo in this? I don't think you can.
I don't know.
No. There was a couple characters they added, I think, just for this release.
Yeah.
And of course, it all got remastered. And all the tracks, all the DLC was in the game. So
all unlocked right then and there.
I didn't like... Well, this is what we like about the game, not what we didn't like about the game. So Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the nominee list.
Yes.
And lastly, Minecraft on the Switch.
Yes. Okay, so guys, this guy has been trying to get me to play Minecraft forever. Ever. Since Xbox 360.
60 is when I started playing
360?
it,
So I was in Europe, and I had my Switch, and I just got Minecraft on it, and holy guacamole. So good.
We need to play it together. We still haven't done that yet.
Yeah, we still haven't. I should brought my Switch.
Multiplayer Minecraft's crazy.
I wouldn't know because I've never done it.
I've barely done it, so I'm looking forward to it.
Totally. But mind-blowing.
Okay. Well, so those are our... I mean, yeah, we don't need to talk more about Minecraft. I mean, everybody knows what Minecraft is.
Exactly. I'm sorry I'm late to the party, guys.
All right, so real quick again, our nominees for Best Re-Release were the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 2.5 Collection, Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age. I can't remember if it's a Zodiac Age. Zodiac Age. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Minecraft on the Switch. And the winner is Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age.
Woohoo! I love that game so much.
It's a fantastic game, and they did just enough. Well, first of all, Final Fantasy 12 was in sore need of an HD remaster.
Oh, yes.
Of all the games in general that need these kinds of remasters, which probably there aren't many, if you tried playing Final Fantasy 12 on a PS2 on an HD screen, it looks like garbage.
Yeah.
So they really needed that HD remaster.
Oh, yeah.
But all the bells and whistles they added to it really made it fresh and exciting. So,
dude, that times 4.
That times 4.
That speed, it changed everything.
So, congratulations, Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age.
Yeah.
All right, now we're getting into the meat. These are the big 5. We're going to start with Best Visuals. All the rest of these categories required at least 2 of us to have played the game. The game has got to be brand new. It's not a port or a remaster. It could be a remake. Remakes were eligible because those are new. We consider those new. If it's a remake. Not a remaster, a remake, it counts.
Like from the ground up.
And it has to have come out in the United States. So games that came out in Japan this year, such as Dragon Quest XI, doesn't matter, we didn't play it, but would not have been eligible. So Touche. All right, so let's start with Best Visuals. Now, Best Visuals, not just the fidelity, it also included the art design, the character models, the animations, whether or not there were technical inefficiencies or efficiencies, maybe 60 frames per second made it really, really good. Blah, 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 blah. So these were the 5 nominees for Best Visuals this year. Cuphead, Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, Super Mario Odyssey, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's a killer list right there. Killer list. All right, let's start with Cuphead. I don't think you played Cuphead.
No. I think you and Onix got it on PC. Did Matt get it on PC?
I don't know if Matt got it. I know Onix did get it, though.
And you guys would, talk all the time on the little messenger thread.
It's a
frustratingly good.
It's hard. It is a hard game, but from a visual perspective, I've never seen anything like that in a game. And I think I remember when Cuphead was first announced, that turned heads. It was like, you just took a cartoon from whatever time period it's from, the 40s or 50s or whatever.
50s,
and it's like, and made it look perfect in a game format. It was like, how does that even work? How is that even possible?
Yeah.
Well, it's possible.
Clearly.
They did it. It took them a long time to release this game from the time it was announced, but it's brilliant. It looks brilliant, and they do things like adding grainy filters and stuff like that to it, so it looks very authentic. And you're playing a video game, but at the same time you don't. It's flawlessly executed. So they did a really good job. Really good job on Cuphead. Another big one at the time of its reveal at E3 was Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
The visual style took a lot of people by surprise.
It is gorgeous.
I mean, there were rumors about robot dinosaurs, but actually seeing the robot dinosaurs on screen and Aloy going down into the plants and doing the tether on that big T-Rex, Stegosaurus, whatever it was, looking dude, and just watching the animations and all of the J.J. Abrams
The lens
lens flares was like, whoa, now that's a game.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember seeing that and like, what was it? She was fighting the T-Rex and she was like shooting bows, arrows at it, and like seeing like the explosion and the pieces falling off and like the detail of the sparks flying off and everything. Kudos, man. Like that, you see that and you're just like, wow, like this is the power of the PS4 at its finest. And like, I don't know if you saw post end, but the way that they achieved a lot of that was the scope of where the camera was at for that the player controlled. That was the only bit that was actually being rendered. Wow. So anything that wasn't in the view of the player was not being rendered at all. It was just to condense all that power into the actual game. Like, it's craziness. I love it.
I think
I'm nerding out, guys.
I mean, like, even little things, like, I feel like if Horizon Zero Dawn was eligible for the Oscars, it would be nominated for Best Costumes, too.
Oh,
like,
yes.
They're, like, just things like their earrings and, like, wrist bracelets and just stuff
Face
on their
paint.
clothes. Like, that was very original. I mean, it wasn't stereotypical. I mean, like, you got the vibe they were going for, but just the design of it all was just really good. And for them to somehow push this sci-fi visual together with this sort of
prehistoric
tribal, you know, out in the woodsy thing and make it work. Like, two different aesthetics together. It was like, wow.
Like how some characters had like pieces of like robots that they took off and like wore them as like head ornaments and stuff. Like, dude, it was nuts.
Crazy.
Nuts. Cool
Crazy
stuff.
good.
Cool stuff.
Persona 5, you have not played this one yet.
No, I actually own it. I got it on Black Friday, but due to time constraints and the recommendation of my fellow peers, I am playing Nier instead.
So Persona 5, myself, Onix, and Matt all played it. None of us have beaten it yet. I believe I'm on the last dungeon, so I've seen enough of it, and Onix is pretty close too. The visuals for this game, in general, what really makes it stand out is its stylings, and a lot of it has to do with the user interface, where you've got, like, when you finish a battle and the main character's running to the side, and then there's like a black outline and then a red outline behind the black outline, and everything just pops off the screen. Like, they went for this really edgy, jazz-influenced sort of feel to the visual design, and it's just mind-blowing. It's almost like something out of a comic book in some ways, and it was just throughout. It just looked so good. It was a very stylized, very creative visual aesthetic, and it really worked. It really worked in that game. Super Mario Odyssey.
I love Super Mario Odyssey.
All four of us obviously have played Super Mario Odyssey.
Yes.
Who hasn't played Super Mario Odyssey?
I don't know. Somebody. But for me, it was actually special because I never owned an N64, and when I had the GameCube, I rented, when Blockbuster was a thing, I rented, what was it, Super Mario Galaxy? Was that what came out on the GameCube? I don't know. But long story short, Sunshine. There you go. This was my first 3D Mario that I ever actually owned. So I'm still playing it now. I'm playing the end game.
End game content.
Yeah, I think I've got like almost 600-ish moons, and I'm taking my time with it. I'm enjoying it, sipping it like a wine, so to speak. But no, man, like visually, it is everything that Mario Kart 8 is not. It is so beautiful, and the animations are done very, very well, in my opinion. And it still has like that cartoony feel, but not. I don't know how else to explain it.
It has a lot of differing environments.
Yes.
There's a particular level very close to the end that if you are a fan of games that a company such as From Software would make, as soon as you get to that world, you're like, wait, what?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I saw that, like, I'm pretty sure I knew when you went to it because you were like, what the heck is going on? But it shows you, like, that each world in and of itself is, they took the art form and the direction of each world into individual places. Yep. And they kind of just, like, went ham sandwich on each and every single one. And that world in particular, like, I went in and I was like, whoa, is this a Mario game?
I want to play more of that world. I want to see it come back.
Me too,
They should do a DLC pack just of
Nintendo.
that world. Make it happen.
Do that.
And the last game on the list was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Boom.
I mean... I don't remember what I gave it in our review for visuals. I think I gave it like a 9.
I wish I was there.
But it was they just took Zelda in such a different direction.
Yeah.
And the newness of it all,
mm-hmm.
the way that they were able to pull it all off technically on a handheld in this big open world. What I remember, one of the big things I liked was you could look out across the world and they had stuff gets highlighted certain colors to let you know what you've been to and what you haven't.
Yeah.
So if it was orange, you hadn't been there yet, I believe, and if it was blue, you had.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really easy to use visual cues to look
mm-hmm.
out over the world to see, oh, I need to go over there.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been there yet. Or, wow, I forgot I was all the way over there, but it looks like I missed something.
Yeah.
Like if you're up on a mountain looking down.
I had to kind of convince my wife to let me get the Switch, and this was before I went to Europe. I had the PS4, loved it. It was awesomeness. But there was a little bit of kind of like uncertainty with the Switch early on because of the release,
right.
All of the games that came out with it, or the lack of games, so to speak. But when I hooked it up, put it to the TV, and was playing, my wife kind of just like walked out. She was like, wow, that's pretty. And I was like, yeah, that's Zelda for you. But, you know, that first moment when you walk out of the sleeping chamber and you just like, the world just like opens up.
Yeah.
Like it's, I don't know. There's nothing that can replicate that for me. Like it was just so epic. And visually, like it's just, I don't know.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so just to recap before we announce the winner.
Yeah.
The 5 nominees for the Best Visuals of 2017 category were Cuphead, Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, Super Mario Odyssey,
mm-hmm.
and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
And the winner is?
And the winner is Cuphead. Congratulations, Cuphead. I mean, you could look at any of these categories and say, wow, or any of these games, I'm sorry, any of these nominees, say, wow, they did something new, they did something different, they did something that is super, super quality compared
mm-hmm.
to maybe one of the others.
Yep.
But Cuphead was the only one that took the visuals into something brand new that we haven't seen yet in the gaming industry.
Yeah.
And it was quality from beginning to end, so definitely deserving of the award this year.
There's nothing like it.
No.
Absolutely nothing like it.
So congratulations to Cuphead.
Yes.
Okay. This is probably my favorite category.
Oh, what's this?
Best soundtrack.
Oh,
I have been waiting for this category all year long.
Yeah.
Because there have been a lot of amazing music this year. Yes. And in fact, you're going to see... Well, we're not going to talk about which games, but there were a lot of games that didn't even make the cut here that had amazing, outstanding soundtracks. This was a great year for music.
I agree.
In video games. So the 5 nominees, really quick, are Nier Automata, Persona 5, Splatoon 2, Super Mario Odyssey, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So, starting with Nier Automata, you have just started playing.
I literally just started playing it, and I was, like, just blown away, man.
This will continue.
Oh, my God. Like, that first fight, like, I was just, like... I was literally, like... and, like, with the PS4 remote, you can hook up like the headphones and everything. Like I was just jamming out, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so like all my wife heard like in the bedroom was like it's like I'm fighting away, but it's also the ambiance of like walking around in the overworld. That's like a whole other aspect.
There's moments where it's just playing the instruments. Okay, I'm not gonna ruin it for you.
Please don't,
because you haven't experienced the full thing yet.
I haven't even beaten it once.
Rudy is on Route A.
Yes.
But I believe even in Route A, there's points where you're walking along and you're just hearing the instrumentals. Then all of a sudden, vocals will start kicking in, and I think, let's just say there's at least 2 or 3 more different versions of songs that will appear throughout. And so they took it to a whole nother level as far as the soundtracks and the way the soundtracks blend in and out of each other. It's so hard to talk about this when you've so
Do you want me to step out?
No. It's okay. But anybody who's played Nier Automata knows, let's just say in Route B, you will experience some of this music differently.
Okay.
And when you experience it that way, it's like, wow, they really put a lot of effort into the music. And then I think in some of the later routes, they incorporate 1 or 2 more versions.
Cool.
I think 1 more version. It's subtle, though. Some of them are subtle. Anyway, yeah. Without actually playing some of this music, it's hard to talk about it, too.
Yeah.
Without saying, oh, the timbre in the guitar was really, really good.
Yeah.
But, it was really, really good. All right, that was Nier Automata. Persona 5.
Okay.
You have not played Persona 5, but you could see this coming.
Dude,
oh my gosh.
I've heard the song. Like the battle theme. These guys, they're like, oh, Persona 5, and like the battle theme, like this guy and never seeing it coming.
It is a classic song now. That's like top 10 in video games, period.
I agree.
You never see it coming.
Dude, I played it one time. Like I was driving, my wife and I, like we were just driving, I don't know, someplace, and like I put it on. It was on YouTube Music, and I just put it on, and Marta was like bobbing her head, and she was like, "Wow, this is really cool. What is it?" I'm like, "It's Persona 5, baby."
There's a lot of music in Persona 5 that I remember the first time I was playing it. I was like, "This is a soundtrack of all time. Like it is amazing."
That's awesome.
It is amazing. It's not. Well, we'll leave it there. I don't want. This is all the good stuff. Not talking about the bad stuff. But yeah, it's anytime that tune or some of the other tunes comes out, I'm just rocking it. Yeah. And when you're playing the game, it really sets the mood.
Yeah.
Like it actually does some similar things that Nier Automata did, where it'll have versions of just the instrumental. It'll have versions with vocals. There's even like more minimalistic versions of some of the songs, so it's like even lighter on the instruments than the regular version, so they change it up, and it's really nice.
That's cool.
Can't
wait to play it, man.
Yeah, you're in for a treat. Splatoon 2.
Yeah, Splatoon 2, man. Like, did Matt ever get Splatoon 2?
I don't know if he did.
I know Onix and I did. Did you get it?
I didn't.
No?
I played the beta, and that was it.
So, Splatoon 2, musically, was so like funky but cool, but not like over in your face cool, and it fit the theme that they were trying to go towards. Like I didn't own a Wii U. I didn't play Splatoon 1, but Onix, who is a huge Wii U fanatic and Splatoon 1 supporter, he was like, dude, you have got to play this. You've got to give it a shot. So I did not play the beta. Didn't do anything. Like I went ahead and I played it, or I bought it and I got it, and I loved it, man, from the get-go. Like it's just that like it's so catchy. I know you're like, I don't know what this guy's talking about, but it's just so catchy, and like I don't know, it gets in your head and it just stays there, and it fits the theme beautifully. Like it just, I don't know. You've go boot it up now. Just buy it. Get it. It's awesome. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun. Go get it too. You should.
It's not on the backlog list. So,
shut up.
All right, next up, Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh man.
I mean, Jump Up Superstar is another classic.
Seriously, man.
That was a brilliant song. Brilliant song.
Like it, and I love the fact that like they play homage to that in the game itself.
When you get to that point in the game where that
Yes.
song comes in,
Yes.
I think for most that's like the highlight of the game.
Dude, that world is the highlight of the game. Like I believe it's the crown and jewel of the game itself,
Right.
without going too deep into it. But musically, it was also a throwback in a lot of senses, at least for me, to some of the older music,
Oh yeah.
like older OSTs and whatnot. That, and I love the 2D 3D bit
Yeah.
where they have like 8-bit versions of like the
Yeah.
3D music and whatnot. It was cool.
There were some other games this year that did similar things to that, like Sonic Mania, for example.
Yes.
And there's a few more, which we'll leave that alone for now. All right, Super Mario Odyssey. But some of the other songs, what I found interesting about Super Mario Odyssey was it wasn't songs that were like meant to be like really catchy, like Super Mario 64 songs were, or even some of the 8-bit, 16-bit songs. These felt more like atmospheric, like here's just a song that's playing in the background, and it's like an environmental song. They weren't environmental songs. I don't know how to explain it. I'm doing a terrible job of explaining it now. But it was a bit more... it was different. It was different for how Mario games usually do their tunes. They weren't just quick pop tunes. They were these longer epics, if you will. Except for the Forest Kingdom. That one had a really catchy tune.
Dude, when I got to that, I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there's the boom boxes are all over the place playing that one. So that was good. And then lastly, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Oh my God, man.
Man, Cass playing that accordion.
Yes. Dude, there's like loops on YouTube that that have that going in the background continuously. It's so good. And then like at the Video Game Awards when they had the cast for the Champions Ballad and he was like playing, I was like, oh
Yeah. I remember there was one time I got up to like one of the horse stables and it was playing a song and Cass wasn't there, and like I remember listening to the song and there were certain bits, like just very rarely, but a couple times where I'm like, man, that really sounds like Epona's theme. And then later in the game, I show up at another stable, and Cass was there, and you realize he's playing the melody, and the town's regular tune was the harmony that made up Epona's theme, and it was like, oh, that is so cool.
Yes. There's also like, as far as like an OST is concerned, there's a lot of musical set pieces as you're riding around, walking around, very subtle, minute piano that comes in and out, and like I love that.
Yes.
Like it's like you're in this world, you're alone. Everybody else your friends, so to speak, the other champions have, I don't want to ruin anything.
Spoilers.
But they like I don't know, it fits the game.
You're just walking along a mountain, it's quiet. You're hearing chirps and you're hearing the grass crunch beneath your feet, and then all of a sudden a piano comes in and just goes dun 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 dun. In a better key than what I just presented. And it's like notes in the wind fluttering by.
Yep.
And
there were a lot of moments where there was no music. Yeah. And I feel like when it comes to sound design, like that's also something very important to take into account. Like, when should there not be music? When, like, for example, there are some moments in movies where sound gets tuned out entirely, or a sound is muffled, and that just, I don't know, just evokes a certain emotion or emphasizes a certain emotion depending on what it is that the director is trying to portray. So musically, man,
and for them to dynamically do that in Zelda was so good.
Dude,
so good. I need to go back and listen to the soundtrack again.
Seriously, it's great, like background music if you're studying or working on something. It's phenomenal.
It is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's recap. Boom. So the 5 nominees for Best Soundtrack of 2017 are Nier Automata, Persona 5, Splatoon 2, Super Mario Odyssey, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
And the winner
is Nier Automata.
Woo!
Congratulations, Nier.
Congrats.
You still haven't experienced the full breadth of it, but when you do... Fantastic. So you've been to the fireworks area, right?
Yes.
Man,
Dude,
wasn't that great?
I walked up and I was like, do I kill these guys? Like,
Yes. the awkward sort of carnival-like music that's playing.
Yep.
Oh, man. Dude, near and dear to my... I don't know. Yeah, the soundtrack was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
I'm definitely going to give it a go. You know, the other three, they've been like pushing me to get this game forever. So when I saw the deal on Black Friday, I think it was like 20, 25
It was
bucks.
very cheap.
Like, it was super cheap. I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bite. And I don't know, like from the get-go, like the title screen alone and like that intro when you're on the ship and you're like flying in and everything, like it gave you like this feeling, and then you go into the overworld, so to speak, and I don't know, man, like it's good. It's very good, and based on what you just said right now, like I'm excited for the rest.
You've just scraped the surface, at least, especially on the soundtrack. Freaking phenomenal.
The other three, they voted for this. I think all three of you guys wanted.
So you've probably noticed already, if you've been watching this far, that we're putting our personal picks down below in addition to the official Gaming Resume awardee. But yes, the three of us did all pick Nier Automata.
Okay, all right,
for
cool.
soundtrack.
Awesome.
At least I hope so. You will know. We will not until later. All right. We only got 3 left.
Okay.
We're over halfway done. Next up is Best Gameplay of 2017.
Oh, man.
Ooh, boy.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, boy. All right.
A lot of debate on that one.
Yes, there was. All right, so the top 5 gameplay games of the year were Nier Automata, Persona 5, Splatoon 2, Super Mario Odyssey, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. No Horizon.
No
Horizon. That's what happens when Matt and Onix are not here.
Just gonna keep on jabbing.
I'm not jabbing. I'm just stating facts.
It
might have made it. But we're not talking about Horizon Zero Dawn. We're gonna start talking about Nier Automata. So you're early in the game.
Yeah.
What do you think about it so far?
Dude, it's snappy. It's good. The chip system is actually really intuitive. Like I haven't gotten that deep into it, but I've started, fusing a little bit, and you can just and the online feature as well of being able to just kind of like, I could like either help you or I could just take everything and keep it for myself.
Yep.
Kind of a little Dark Souls-ish a little bit. Like in the sense that like if somebody leaves a message, you can rate it, and you could increase their, or was it healing? I don't know. It's been a while.
They get healed if you something like that.
I think in Dark Souls 1 it also gave you like an extra soul.
Okay.
Anyways,
one extra soul.
Something like that. I don't know. But no, I definitely like the way that it plays. It's snappy. It's Platinum Games. Like, dude, it is freaking sharp, tactile sharp, and like to the point. I don't know. I'm not disappointed, and it exceeds expectations in my opinion.
It does a really good job transitioning between an action slash 'em up and a twin stick shooter.
Yes.
I when I first got it, I did not realize there was twin stick shooting in it. I thought you just ran around with a sword, and the first thing you do in the game is fly in on a ship, and you're shooting around, and then it goes 3D, and it's like, whoa, I didn't know this was in here. This is cool. This is not what I expected.
Yeah.
The first real Platinum Games game that I've played at length. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was very impressed.
You didn't play Metal Gear Revengeance or Vanquish?
Bayonetta. Haven't played any of those yet.
Oh, dude.
I take it back. I played Transformers for 10 minutes on PlayStation Plus.
Transformers Devastation?
Something like that. I don't know. We'll say that doesn't count. All right, so Nier Automata, Persona 5, you have not played it yet.
No. Is it an answer? You can say yes or no. Is it similar to gameplay-wise to Persona 4?
It's similar.
Okay.
It does have some differences. For example, in Persona 4, from what I remember, when you beat somebody, there was like this card selection where you could pick a card and then you get a reward based on what you picked.
Yep.
That's not in there.
Okay.
Instead, when you get an enemy down to low health, sometimes they will panic and like give up, and you can either ask them for an item, ask them for money, or you can ask them to join your team.
Oh.
So, like, join you as a persona.
As a persona.
So it's very similar, but they just did it a little bit differently. But the battles are very similar in that most enemies have a weakness based on different elemental types, and so you're trying to use those. You can collect personas, fuse personas, and then, of course, there's the day-to-day school life.
Okay.
Taking tests, working at a job, going fishing, just going and building your confidant level up with people that you know, and that unlocks more benefits. So it's very similar. It's definitely a Persona game.
Yeah.
But there's some tweaks to the formula.
They built up to it.
Yeah.
Or on top of it, I'm sorry.
The dungeons in this game are so much better than they were before. They're very well crafted.
How do you feel about the difficulty? Is it like okay?
You know,
does it spike up?
You know, I've heard people playing
I'm
it
asking
all the
for
way
myself
through.
just because I don't know what to
I
expect.
would start on normal.
Okay.
I got to a point where I felt like I wasn't really grinding, but then you get to a boss and it's like, man, this is really tough. And I had to restart a couple of them just because I didn't have the right people in my party.
Yeah.
And it was not because of the difficulty per se. It was because I wanted to stick to the same 4 characters and they didn't have the right synergies against the boss.
Yeah.
That for every once in a while I turn it down to easy just to get through it because one battle against the boss, whatever. The game's not about the boss battles for me.
Okay.
So I was okay playing it on easy for a little bit, but it is a long game.
100 hours is what the reviewers were saying.
I'm like close to 70 something.
Yeah.
And I'm on the last. I think I'm on the last boss. I guess I'll find out.
Yeah.
Splatoon 2.
Oh man, Splatoon 2. So like I don't like shooters. I don't like shooters at all.
Multiplayer shooters?
Yeah, multiplayer shooters I hate. But this game I clocked around 80 hours already.
Holy cow.
Yeah, dude. It is a freaking amazing game.
Wow.
And like there's a horde mode which wasn't in Splatoon 1. And it's salmon run. It's salmon run. And like Onix and we would play, and like after a few rounds, like the difficulty just keeps on going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And like it gets insane sometimes. Like you have the way that it works is you have all this land and the sea level goes up and down, and depending on the height, like depends or changes the amount of land that's available to move around in.
Right.
And in some instances, like you are just like have this much land to work with, and you have like hordes of like enemies coming up. The campaign was okay. Like apparently it was better than the first one. But you know, it's nothing special, nothing to call home about. But the shooting, which is really its main focus, and the painting, so to speak, the splatting, was awesome. Like I love the effect of it. You can feel the guns as they shoot, and like the different ways of doing it. Like there's like the paintbrush, and like just splatting around with like a normal gun, or like a roller brush. It just, I don't know. I enjoyed it a lot, and it was very, very sharp. Like, very tight controls for an FPS. Well, not FPS, but third-person shooter. I like it.
Cool.
You should get it.
Yeah, we'll see. Super Mario Odyssey. I mean, the gameplay is...
There's no...
It's platforming brilliance.
Yeah. It is the pinnacle of platforming.
We're supposed to be positive about this. There were some gripes, I'm not going to say what they were, that I did have with it. I feel like the moons were a little much. I feel they should have scaled back on some of the moons.
I agree.
But it was still...
You can go to a store and you can buy 10.
You can buy... I think you can continue buying them continually. So as long as you're collecting coins, you could technically buy all of the moons you need.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's lame.
But that's... So for Game of the Year, best gameplay purposes, I mean, it brings back the Super Mario 64 gameplay elements of how Mario controls and jumps. Did you play Galaxy? Oh no, I guess you didn't.
No,
neither of us played Galaxy, really.
No. I played like 10 minutes of Sunshine.
It was open world Mario done right.
That's what Galaxy was?
No, that's
Or
what this is.
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Odyssey. I agree. I especially on the tail end of Super Mario, because like the game itself, if you follow the main story, easy as heck.
It
like,
is very
like
easy.
To me, it's very easy. But the tail end, and I don't want to go into detail, but the tail end, there's a difficulty spike.
There is.
That, like, me not being a Mario aficionado, like Mr. Onyx, I was like, what the heck?
You had some
Like,
trouble?
yeah, because I was sitting there and I was, I didn't die at all through the main game. Even, fighting the last boss, like, I was just like,
Oh, so you are talking about the post-game content.
post-game content.
Oh, yeah.
Difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Very difficult.
Very difficult.
The main game, whatever. I finished it and I was like, all right, cool. But the post game is very, very difficult. Some of it, it took me some time to kind of like figure out the right way to run. And exactly because
yeah.
you finished it, right? You finished the post game.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
All right. Cool. No worries.
I'm
You're
on
there.
the yeah.
Okay. All right.
And
so
I just
what I'm
haven't
talking
gotten
about.
through it all yet,
But it's difficult.
it's difficult.
No.
Very difficult. And lastly, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Took Zelda in a whole new direction.
Yes.
I mean, you still have your sword and your shield.
That's
but
totally
now
breakable.
You've got tons of. That's all very. It's got durability this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's open world, and it feels they basically they tried to go back to the original Zelda game
Yeah. That's what they said.
and make it 3D.
Yes.
And I think they really did that.
Oh, they succeeded. I feel like. I mean, the idea of climbing
Anything. Oh, that was so good.
Changed
So
everything,
good.
man. And for me, it's one of those things that like at first I hated the whole breakage, weapons breaking and things like that. But the more that I like thought about it, and the more that I played it, the more I realized that it made you think on your feet. Is the system perfect? Heck no. Like, I think when you and Onyx did a review, you mentioned that like some of the fighting system. What's it called when you can like kind of like dodge and you slow down time? I totally forgot the name of it.
I don't remember.
But you can dodge, you slow down time, and then it's a flurry, right?
Oh yeah, where you get that chance to like really
wail into them and whatnot.
Made it too easy.
Made it too easy in some instances. Even the last fight, like I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, all right, cool, this is awesome. And then I finished it and I was like, this is it. Like that's it. That's kind of lame.
I died a few times on the final boss.
Oh, all right. Sorry. But as a whole, it's still enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's still like
there's always a carrot that you're chasing.
yes, and like I didn't get all 900 Korok seeds
Yeah.
or anything like that, but I did clock in like around 130, 140 hours, and I got all the shrines and did everything, and that's why I'm looking forward to Champions.
To the DLC?
Yeah, man, the DLC is gonna be awesome. Like I haven't booted it up. Like I saw that it was there, and I was like, oh man, but I haven't touched it yet. But yeah, I would definitely go back and play it today.
All right, so just to recap, our nominees for Best Gameplay of 2017 are Nier Automata, Persona 5, Splatoon 2, Super Mario Odyssey, and The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
And the winner is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. All right.
Yes.
Nintendo on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was, I mean, all the rest of the games had a blast playing them, but Zelda did so much different. It changed the formula so much that it was like rediscovering a long lost friend or love or whatever. Like it was like, wow. But at the same time, it was so familiar and so it brought back so much nostalgia.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of nostalgia from the design to the characters to the music, but I think the biggest thing was the exploration, being able to literally point at something and be like, with your little iPad-esque thing, your Sheikah Slate, and just be like, you know what, I want to go there, putting a marker and going to it. And it never felt like a Ubisoft open world game. Yeah. It never felt like it was a mini map. It never felt like Far Cry. Icons and actions or an Assassin's Creed that you got to go do. It was just have fun.
And all of it was fun. It wasn't, oh, I don't like doing these.
If you want to go straight to Ganon from the beginning,
Just
you
do
can.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. Like, you have choice.
You're going to get your butt handed to you.
Well, yeah. Well,
But you could. But you could.
You could.
You could.
You could.
So congratulations.
Yeah, congrats,
congratulations. Guys. All right, 2 more to go. Best stories up next. Best narrative.
Oh, man.
So here's our 5 nominees. Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier Automata, Persona 5, Super Mario Odyssey, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Alright, let's get to these.
Alright.
Horizon Zero Dawn, I have not beaten it. Not even close.
Yeah.
Have you beaten it?
Yes,
okay.
I did.
That first couple hours.
Yeah.
Like, until you get out of, like, your main area, like, the main intro tutorial-ish area, the first 5, whatever hours, like, the story had me gripped.
Yeah, dude.
And, like, I really felt for these characters. Like, oh, my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. They I mean, even the tutorial, like, part where you're, like, a kid and just, like, going through, like, you're just like, okay. And, I mean, I'm a bit of, like, a sci-fi nerd, so as I was, like, going in and seeing all these different things, I'm just like, this is so freaking cool. Like, oh, man.
Yeah.
And as you continue the story, I mean, how did you just get out of...
No, I've been out for a little bit, but I've been mostly doing side quest stuff. I haven't really... I got to... So, semi-spoilers. I got to the big main city where the dude... that also had a thing... Meridian, I think. And then I went off and did something very small.
Okay.
I'm getting my butt handed to me out there. Like, everything's big and scary.
The cool thing about Horizon Zero Dawn that you can tell that they set themselves up for a sequel. And you'll see. Okay. You'll see. As a standalone game, the story is epic. It tugs at your heart in some points, and without getting too spoilerish, some of it's predictable, some of it's not.
Okay.
But and mind you, I got the game right. I actually pre-ordered it, and I forgot that I pre-ordered it. So when Amazon knocked on my door, I was like, "Here you go." I was like, "Oh, all right, cool, awesome." So I booted it up, and around that time, these guys got Zelda, and they were all into it. But I was like, "No, I'll play Horizon," which I'm glad I did that order and not the other way around.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Because man, if you went the other way around, it's hard. You're expecting Aloy to jump and climb everything, and she doesn't. But no, as far as the story is concerned, it is concrete. It does well, and there's a lot of side stories that you'll see as you go along that don't necessarily play a part in the main plot, but they progress alongside with the main plot. It's really cool, and if you play a part in it, you can affect different things.
Okay,
it's cool, man. You'll enjoy it when you get to it. You'll be like, huh. All right, and some of the characters are just badass, man. It is really cool.
Awesome.
Really cool.
Nier Automata. This is going to be tricky to talk about because you're very early on.
I am super early on.
Matt, Onix, and myself have finished the game.
Yes. And,
gosh, how do I talk about Nier Automata's story? It's tough not just from a spoiler perspective, but I also don't want to give you really high expectations. Part of Nier Automata, what made it so great is not having expectations for what was even going to happen in the story, and then just experiencing it and just being like, wow, this is fantastic. So it kind of follows, it's a pseudo sequel to the previous Nier game, and I believe even some of the Drakengard games, but primarily Nier, the first Nier. And I had never played any of those games, but I was still able to completely enjoy everything that they put in this game. There's a lot of twists. There's a lot of things that it's like, yeah, I kind of figured that was going to happen, and then they pull the rug out under you, and they're like, oh my gosh, okay, all right. And there were a lot of moments where it felt like they were trying too hard. I was like, oh, This is the typical cliche thing, and then you realize later how it was not what you thought at all, and it's like, okay. So yeah, and there's some fourth wall breaking stuff in there every now and then. That was some of my favorite parts of it, because it really, when I finally sat the controller down and I was done with the game, it made me really think a lot.
Yeah.
So for a story to do that,
that's what a lot of people say.
It's got to be something good.
That have beaten it. A lot of people say that, it's a thought-provoking story.
Very thought-provoking. And having finished it, I'm going to give it some time, take some time away. I can't wait to replay it again at some point in the future.
It's that good.
Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to it. Next up, Persona 5. So you haven't played Persona 5 at all.
I'm sorry, guys.
There's nothing too crazy as far as plot spoilers go. But so we both had Persona 4. We played it on the Vita. And the story just never really captured me. It was like, oh, this is it's different from anything I'd played before. It's fun. Persona 5, I was in.
Yeah.
Like, I was in. So you are Phantom Thieves. So now it almost feels like rebellious instead of trying to stop some unknown thing that's going on. You are stepping up and making a difference in the way that culture and society are working in Persona 5. And there were moments where the bosses, if you will, the people that you're going against, like really, really made me mad. Like the things that the villains of the game are doing, like it really got me upset. Like I was like, oh, I hate this person. Must be a good villain. Like they wrote this really well. Man, I hate this. I hate playing this because of this stupid person. And it really speaks to millennial culture. Absolutely. It's definitely a old school, new school, and
really?
Yeah, there's a lot of that in there because I feel like there's a lot of social justice. This is a game about social justice, and you'll see when you get into it. It hits on some pretty serious topics, and it was surprising to see it go that route. And so that got me invested because in the real world, I feel a lot of the same things, and like this is a really cool way to have a game imagine. Man, what if you really wanted to stand up and speak up, like a lot of people are doing now, like in Hollywood and in politics, speaking up against people who had harassed them and things of that nature. Persona 5, the way the story goes, it's a way for them to do it in a fantasy way to do it.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoyed that. I still haven't beaten it. I don't know how it formally ends yet, but everything that I've been playing through, it's more, even if the ending's just okay, the journey was a lot of fun. So.
That's good.
Persona 5. So I'll let you talk about this next one, Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh my gosh.
Because these are group nominations.
These are group nominations.
I'll let you talk about
first and foremost, Sean is not the biggest fan of Super Mario Odyssey.
From a story narrative.
From a narrative perspective. I enjoyed it. It definitely... like there's things that I love about it and there's things that I hate about it, but as far as the story, the main plot was good. I didn't understand the purpose of the Brutals, which is a whole...
So they were the bridal party.
Yeah, they were the bridal party.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that as a concept.
Yes.
I thought that was really good. The characters themselves,
wonky,
questionable.
Yeah.
Whether or not it should have been somebody that people more associated with the Mario franchise, or maybe if they just spent a little bit more time on the characters themselves.
Yeah.
But I liked the idea of Bowser having like a wedding. Wedding planners, if you will.
Yeah,
it's kind of like what they were.
Yeah. But as far as like the story and everything that's concerned, New Donk City.
That was great.
That was great.
That was epic.
I loved it.
The world-to-world stories.
Like the individual...
Yeah.
They were awesome.
Those were very good.
They were awesome. And I loved how everything had a... How can I say this? A creature, so to speak. Like a main species.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just played into the world beautifully.
Like a race.
Yeah.
They all had a race.
Yeah.
Or an animal. Or whatever.
Whatever. But it was really cool. I enjoyed it. And the stories that revolved around each and every single one of them was pretty cool too. The way that it ended without getting, spoilers or anything like that, like the way that it ended for me, it was exactly what I thought was going to happen. The way that it ended for him, it was the complete opposite of what he wanted.
No, it was the complete opposite.
Because I see it as Mario, and I'm just like, it's Mario. He saw it as something else entirely. This is like Mario freaking 20 years.
It's okay. I just feel like they went with a very like, oh my gosh, Bowser is trying to force Peach to marry him.
Yeah.
That's for a Mario storyline, that's as hardcore as I would say it gets.
Yeah.
Short of like really going M-rated with it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like where he's like beating her up or something.
Yeah.
But they had some opportunities that I thought were missed, but I still enjoyed the journey.
I agree. The journey was well worth it.
The journey was well. And there were moments where, I really loved the Cappy Mario companionship.
Yes.
I thought that was really good.
That was really cool. That was way better than Navi.
Cappy he's an iconic Mario character now.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Like, he needs to show up in all future games.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe not as a gameplay mechanic, but have him there.
I will say one thing. I wanted Luigi, man.
Yeah. Don't know why he wasn't there.
Man.
Maybe in DLC we'll see Luigi. Maybe they'll do like a one of those Boo Ghost levels and he'll come out with his vacuum.
Oh, that'd be epic. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
All right. We still got one more to get to. Last but not least, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. I think you and Onix... Do you and Onix like share the same idea?
For this one we did. I think it wasn't that the story itself was bad. We both loved the story of this game. So without going into spoilers, stuff happens in the past, and then you wake up later after some events have happened, and you were injured and needed to have been healed. And now that you're healed, all sorts of stuff's gone wrong as Link, and now you've got to go out back into the world of Hyrule to try and set things right.
Yep.
And so there's a present to the game, but there's also a past to the game. Mm-hmm. And to find out the past, you have to collect memories, and to collect memories, you go to certain spots.
Yep.
There's no order in which you have to do them, which made the story of the past somewhat confusing depending on the order that you collected the memories in. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, it was a great story.
Yeah.
It was a Zelda story.
Yeah.
It was a better Zelda story than some other Zelda stories.
Yeah, heck yeah. In my opinion, yes.
Yeah.
I agree with you. One of the, Onix and Sean, they both, and correct me if I'm wrong, that whole convoluted timeline of regaining those memories and not having an order, it was one of the biggest negatives that you guys saw, right?
Yep.
See, for me, I thought it was perfect. I thought that was exactly as someone who deals with memory loss would go ahead and actually regain their memories. And one of the biggest things that I would see is the movie Memento, where, he's going around and you watch the movie in portions and they're all out of order, but in the end, you're just like, it all makes sense. So as you're going through the game and you're collecting all these memories, the moment that you have everything and you can watch them in your Shake a Slate, when you see everything in order, you're just like, wow, now this all makes sense. I understand the picture as a whole, whereas everything was in pieces earlier. And that to me is Onix. I could hear Onix in the back of my head being like, no, it doesn't count. But and for me, it fit the story perfectly and beautifully, because you're dealing with memory loss. You're dealing with somebody that woke up in a world that he recognizes but doesn't recognize.
Yep.
And he doesn't know everything. And, you know...
It made sense within the confines of the story that was going on.
Exactly.
Completely agree.
If he did not, you know, go in that 100-year slumber, would it make sense? Heck no.
No.
Not at all.
But it did make sense.
Yeah.
It 110% made sense.
Yeah. So to me, I like the story in and of itself, like it fleshes out Zelda a little bit, as far as who she is, how she feels about her responsibilities, and I guess her growth as a character as well. And kind of Link is, you know, just Link. He's a badass. You know, like, he's always the heroic one, but I don't know. I mean, that's just me. That's my view on it.
Well, so let's get through these nominees again, and we'll decide who won.
Yeah.
Well, we've already decided, but all right. So the 5 nominees, just to recap: Best Story, Best Narrative were Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier Automata, Persona 5, Super Mario Odyssey, and The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
And the winner
is Nier Automata. Oh boy, when you finish this, man, what a game.
I'm pretty sure I voted for that one, and I haven't even finished it yet. Yeah. I haven't even done the first one. I know that the story's going to be epic.
Boy, oh boy. What a game.
And if my expectations are too high, I blame you guys.
That's okay. That is okay. My brother finished it in a week after I told him to go play it, and he was just like, Sean, what the heck did I just play?
Yeah.
In a good way.
In a good way.
All right, here we go. This is it. We are talking now about the ultimate of the ultimate. We each had our own opinions.
Yes.
But this is now the time where we are going to talk about the gaming resumes 2017 Game of the Year. 5 games were nominated. These 5 games, you have to play all 5 of them.
Yes.
All 5 of them. You cannot miss these.
Yes.
These were the best games of 2017 from our collective opinion.
Yep.
And the nominees are Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier Automata, Persona 5, Super Mario Odyssey, and last but not least, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. All right, let's talk about these as a whole. Horizon Zero Dawn.
All right, man.
Guerrilla Games made they to complete 180 from Killzone.
Seriously, man.
What a game!
Like it from the get-go, like you could, it was eye candy from the get-go, and the gameplay mechanics to back that up as well. At least for me, like you.
It has a crunch to it, like you feel when you stab something, when you shoot that bow.
Exactly, and the way that like the control scheme for the bow and arrow works, like it just flows naturally. Like you hold L2 to go ahead and put up your bow, you pull back with R2, but if you want to cancel that, you let go of the bow, and it's boom,
and it puts your
it's automatic. Yeah. Dude, it's so intuitive because it's just like, okay, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and put down the bow.
It's very similar to the control schemes in from a natural feel to Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
Where like when the Colossus starts flipping around, you hold on to dear life with R1 and you can feel yourself flipping. I mean, it's like, don't let go.
Oh my gosh, so freaking good. The story was amazing. The music was amazing. I mean, as a full package, I am so glad that I forgot about that pre-order because when it came, it blew my mind.
What pleasant surprise is an understatement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Next up, Nier Automata.
This is all you.
I know. I was not expecting that much. There was actually, having gotten through Zelda, having gotten through Persona, I was like, man, I don't know how any other game could even compete with those games. Knowing that Mario was coming out later in the year, I'm like, sure, I'll play Nier Automata, but I'm just not expecting a whole lot. And wow, was my mind blown. What a game. I mean, it just, so many times where it exceeded my expectations and just surprised me around every corner.
Yeah.
That was my experience with Nier Automata.
So far, I've enjoyed it. I haven't even finished my first playthrough, and I love it.
It did. There was one thing it did that, and I'm not gonna tell you what it was.
Okay.
You will know when you get there.
Okay.
There was one thing it did that I have seen in other games before, but they fake it. This game did it for real, and it blew my mind watching it happen.
Okay.
And then when it finished happening, I was just like, oh my gosh, what a game. What a game. Persona 5, man. You still have not even touched it. Oh boy.
This is what months in Europe does to you.
You know,
it cuts into your game time.
Coming off of Persona 4 where I enjoyed it but wasn't really that into it, Persona 5 blew my mind.
Okay.
Was not prepared for it. And it's taken me almost a year. I mean, I'm still playing through it. I'm still towards the end. 70 hours. When was the last time you played well, you just said you played Splatoon 2. When was the last time you played a single-player RPG for more than 60 hours that you can remember?
Single player RPG for more than 60 hours. I would say probably, I don't know, man. Maybe Final Fantasy 12 when it first came out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's not that many games where you would spend that much time in, and I'm surprised how much time I've committed to Persona.
Yeah.
At least for single-player narratives. Like, multiplayer games is something entirely different.
Well, yeah.
Still going. I took long breaks in between play sessions.
Oh, yeah.
But almost to the end, and what a ride it's been. Super Mario Odyssey. I beat it in a weekend. Literally in 24 hours from start to finish.
That's how easy the campaign is,
post-game content. But I did spend 20-ish hours. Like, I didn't
You did
sleep.
the bare minimum, though, right? For, like, the moons?
Yeah. So every world I went to, I just got enough moons to get me to the next world. Because I really wanted to get through it. I wanted to see how that game was going to end. But I loved it. Yeah, I had a blast playing it.
I did the complete opposite. I actually took my time with each and every single world, kind of like looked at all the nooks and crannies, and there are actually a lot of moons that you can't get until after the game in each and every single world. So, and there's a reason to go to each and every single world afterwards in the post-game content.
Multiple reasons.
Yeah. But I ended up, I think it's like 180. Was it 180 to finish the game the first time around?
Somewhere in that
Somewhere around
vicinity,
there, and then you need like 500 to finish
I think there was like a 250. I think 250 might have been.
250.
500 is the final.
Final, and then there's 800 something total.
Yeah, something
like that. So like I was more than halfway done to actually finishing the post game by the time I actually finished the game the first time around. So I actually only needed to get, I don't know, like 70 moons or something like that. I don't freaking know. But I didn't have to play that long. But I'm still enjoying it. That's the beauty of it. It's still like, it's such a good platformer that you can still play it, pick it up, and even if it's for a few minutes at a time, because the Switch's portability is amazing. You can still play it and it's awesome.
It's a great game. Fantastic game. Game of the Year nominee.
Yes.
And last but not least, I think I've said that too many times for this game because it's alphabetical order.
Yeah.
But The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, this actually won the Game Awards Game of the Year.
Yeah, because it's just that good.
It's just that good. I remember this was one of the first major games. I mean, there were a bunch before it, but when this game came out, everybody's like, this is it. Game of the Year is already here.
Yeah.
And I think we all thought the same thing.
Oh, I still think the same thing.
And I didn't say that like a spoiler. At the time, we all thought. There's no question.
Oh yeah.
Like nothing will rival this game. It was so good. But then we got Persona 5. We got Nier Horizon. You said you played it right around the same time, so that's why I'm speaking that a little bit backwards. And then Mario at the end of the year, and it's like, wow, there actually was competition to Zelda.
Yeah.
Are people going to remember Zelda at the end? Well, that was a silly question. Of course they will.
Of course, yeah.
I mean,
Zelda. It's Zelda, and not just that, but like it was a Zelda that like it went back to its roots, like you said earlier. But I feel like it reinvented itself. It went back to its roots in the sense of mechanics and things like that, but it still set it in a different, newer part of the Zelda world. I don't know. Right. Like I loved it, and like in my opinion, everything that I played so far, minus Nier and Persona 5, to me, it's still the GOTY.
Persona 5, still haven't finished it. I did finish Nier. Mario, just went through it real quick.
Yeah.
Horizon, I haven't gotten through yet. Zelda, I did not put that down until I was done and complete. I didn't complete everything.
I completed everything. Except for the Korok seeds.
I was committed to that game. Mm-hmm. What a game.
Oh, yeah. Well, like, the only reason I didn't complete the Korok seeds was because the puzzles became very redundant. Like, it became so repetitive. It wasn't like Super Mario where, like, your curiosity kind of, like, brought you into different areas and you could, like, put things together and whatnot. Zelda was very repetitive in that sense. But everything else, all the shrines, I did them all. I have everything. It's such a great game. I love it. So,
are we ready?
Are you ready?
Can you jiggle the mouse real quick?
Yeah.
I need a mouse jiggle before we continue over here. I need to make sure that we're all looking at the right thing here. That's our game of the year tab.
Okay.
I had you do that for a reason. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so let's recap real quick. 2017 Game of the Year, the gaming resume nominees are Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier Automata, Persona 5, Super Mario Odyssey, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, the way Rudy and I decided to figure out who won these categories and who was eligible, without Matt and Onix here, we did have their picks, but we ultimately had to make the cuts.
Yeah.
And when we were looking at this one, well, there's 3 people who selected the same game. So we said, you know what? We didn't want this to be a majority rules. We wanted to really talk about it. But since it was just the 2 of us, we looked at that and said, you know what? 3-1. This is going to be the game that wins. So, congratulations. The 2017 Game of the Year award from the Gaming Resume team goes to Nier Automata. What a freaking game.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations. We've said a lot about Nier already, so I'm not going to continue on. But what I thought we could do, now that we've reached the end, and you've seen all of our personal picks for all of these categories along the bottom, Rudy, just for Game of the Year, and that's why I had you jiggle the mouse.
Yeah.
What were your top 5, and why?
My top 5, okay. So Horizon Zero Dawn, I think that's pretty obvious, and we've talked about it in the past, and I loved it through and through, and I can't wait for the sequel because there's definitely going to be a sequel. The next one is Metroid Samus Returns, and here's why. When Metroid Prime 4, when they put, dude, I seriously, like, I jumped up. I was so freaking excited. I'm a Metroid junkie, and I don't consider Other M to be part of the Metroid universe, and if you ever played it, you would understand why. But Metroid Samus Returns was a homage to Metroid 2. It was a remake from the ground up, and they added a couple of things in there as well. But it was everything that Metroid 2 should have been, and it was held back a lot by the hardware of the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. I mean, Metroid 2 was actually the first Metroid that I ever played. I didn't play Metroid 1 on NES. I didn't own it. I only played Zero Mission, which was my first way into that. But anyways, it was a beautiful game, very well done, slightly action-oriented, which if you haven't gotten it and you have a 3DS, get it. It's just snappy, it's fun, and it's everything that Metroid should be, especially a 2D Metroid on top of that. Like, it was just highly recommended. Onix hasn't finished it, I think, which he should, but, you know, he's a loser, so whatever. What else is there? So I picked Sonic Mania for Game of the Year, or nominated it anyways. The reason I did that, I haven't, like, I'm one of the Sonic fans that has been a Sonic fan on the sidelines. This was actually the first Sonic game that I ever owned. I played Sonic the Hedgehog and then the Dreamcast Sonic Adventure, was it? The first one?
Yes.
So those are the only 2 games that I actually played. So I'm not an avid Sonic fan, but when they said that this was coming out from the main guy, Whitehead and all these other people that are known for doing fan service, games, fan service games, I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Mm-hmm. I was in Europe, downloaded it on the Switch. Holy guacamole, what a freaking game.
Sonic's back.
Dude,
for real.
For realsies. Because Sonic Forces doesn't count.
No. They need to do a Sonic Mania 2.
Seriously, man. Like, that was...
Day one.
Yeah. That was the epitome of, like, awesomeness. That is what Sonic should be. So, when, we were going down our list, I was like, that's got to be in there. It's got to be. Like, me not knowing much about Sonic, loved it. I know some of the levels were, like, remixes and stuff like that, but I loved it. I enjoyed it. The next nomination is Super Mario Odyssey. I think all 4 of us did that.
We all picked that.
That's kind of like a given. And then my nomination and my pick for the winner was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
So you shared the opinion with the Game Awards with the 51 critics from around the internet. We were number 52. We just didn't make the cut.
Yeah. Sorry.
Maybe next year. We'll see.
We'll see. But
that's a good top 5.
I think that's
solid top 5.
Yeah.
I'll share Matt's on his behalf real quick. Sure. So Matt also picked Horizon Zero Dawn. We've talked about that at length. Mm-hmm. He picked Super Mario Odyssey and The Legend of Zelda as well, also on the nominee list. Prey was one of his top 5. Mm-hmm. I did also play Prey. Matt and I kind of played it together. And, that was a fantastic game. Yeah. It was not in my top 5.
I enjoyed the demo.
Matt was the only one who selected it or nominated it for the top 5, but if you are a fan of BioShock, Prey was definitely a game to play. Mm-hmm. I mean, the gameplay and the progression was a lot of fun. The traversal was fantastic. It had some really good art design, some great music. The story got a little not so great towards the end for me, but it was really good. And Matt thought it was worth a nomination, and I would not have a problem had that been nominated in our top 5. And Matt selected Nier Automata to win. Mm-hmm. Onix and I both had the exact same nominations and the same winner, so I'll speak on behalf of both of us. We both picked Persona 5, which was on the nomination list. We both picked Super Mario Odyssey, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. We both also picked Sonic Mania, which was not on the list. Now, if you are listening and you were eagle-eared, you would have realized that 3 of us selected Sonic Mania, but only 2 of us selected Horizon, and only 2 of us selected Persona. Mm-hmm. So this was one of those hard cuts that Rudy and I decided to make. Even though we 3 of us agreed Sonic Mania was deserving of a top 5 spot, we both agreed, even though we didn't vote for each of these 2 games, that the conversation would not have been correct if Sonic Mania took the place of Horizon Zero Dawn or Persona 5.
Especially not being nominated.
In
any other category.
I mean, having not been nominated in any other category, I think Sonic Mania could have been nominated, not should have. Personally, I would have nominated it for Best Soundtrack. The soundtrack in Sonic Mania was one of the main reasons I love the game so much, is you had the 16-bit like version, and then you had like a modern instrumental version for every world. Every world had 2 tracks that was the same track, just looked at differently. But yeah, so Onix and I both picked Sonic Mania, Persona 5, Super Mario Odyssey, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and we both picked as our winner Nier Automata. Mm-hmm. And you may, when you get through the end, retroactively change it, but on paper, for the Game of the Year awards, this is what we've got. So congratulations to all the nominees, to all of the winners. It's been a fantastic year. I am not looking forward to 2018's Game of the Year ceremony because should all 4 of us happen to get together, and maybe any other people we pick up along the way over the next year, I think it's going to be a bloodbath because there are a lot of really high potential games coming out in 2018. More so than this year. I think everybody thought between Zelda and maybe Mario it was a lock. And there were some surprises.
Yep.
And just a lot of good quality games this year. But next year, if you watch our 2018 preview, we had 20 games on that list. We had a top 10 that we fought for. That didn't include any Nintendo first-party games or any other surprises that are yet to have been announced. I mean, Soul Calibur 6 just got announced, and it's like, oh, automatic Game of the Year contender just based on franchise quality. So next year is going to be hard. Very hard to select a winner. Yep. It's going to be a challenge. So, Onix and Matt, you better show up to this next year. Otherwise, Rudy and I are going to pick... Ni no Kuni 2, Game of the Year. I don't know.
Hopefully, Nintendo...
Monster Hunter World? What's that? I don't
know. Hopefully, freaking Nintendo comes out with Pokemon next year.
I don't know if I could vote for Monster Hunter World if there's a
Pokemon.
A seriously amazing Pokemon game on the Switch.
They bought a new trademark for it, right?
Jeez.
I mean, I'm just saying, they purchased it.
2018, man.
Dude.
It's going to be intense.
It's going to be a fun year.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us for the Game of the Year Awards from the Gaming Resume. Thank you for watching us over the course of this year. We're just getting started.
Yep.
We've got another 30 years to go before we retire. And even then, we'll probably do this in retirement. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
But we're in it to win it. And we thank everybody for watching. We thank you for subscribing and tuning in. And I dropped my pen. And,
it's okay. It doesn't matter now. We have our goatee.
We have our Game of the Year, Nier Automata. Mm-hmm. So this will probably be the last video that we will post up on our channel for 2017. We'll be back early 2018. You can probably tell we're in yet another studio this time. We still do not have our final studio. Yeah. Should be built by February, and then hopefully late February, early March, we'll start recording there. But you got to sit at kiddie tables before you can sit at the big boy tables. So we're working our way up. We're making it happen.
Oh yeah.
I can't imagine what it would have been like having four of us around this really small table.
That would have been rough.
But we would have made it work, and it would have been hilarious.
Yeah. These guys. Hey guys. What's up?
All right. Automata. So this is Sean and Rudy signing off for 2017. Congrats, Nier Automata.
Yes. Later.
Like what you saw? Check out some of our other videos and be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest content. Thanks for your support, and thanks for watching.